every year I do, usually, because somebody asked me to do it, I do a presentation on Dickens' Christmas Carol, which much of the Christmas Carol, which is only 66 pages, Dickens takes from his own life and some of the tragic things that happened to him as a child, and he puts them into Scrooge's life. And with Scrooge, we go and watch Scrooge as a child, sitting at his desk, left alone at Christmas in the school when everybody else has gone home for the holidays. And Dickens simply says, he saw himself as that lonely little child again, and he wept. And at that moment, we stop hating him. At that moment, we cross that line to empathy. And empathy, now they're learning, psychologists are learning, empathy involves more facets of the brain than anything else. We get all the way up to the neocortex, which is the latest brain. We get out of that reptilian brain which just reacts and says, that person is dangerous to me. I reject that person. This person is like me. We get all the way up to the neocortex, which is able to understand empathy, which is in some way, I am that person, and that person is me.
I just watched The Man Who Invented Christmas. Have you seen that?
That's wonderful. And it does talk about
it goes into that, and
his background.
At the very end, in the little epilogue, it said overnight, contributions to charity went up immeasurably in England because of that 66-page book.
We all want to be the Cratchit family. They're poor, they don't have enough to eat, they're starving to death, and they're the happiest family we know. And so he really just creates this world that we want to be a part of, and all of a sudden our heart opens up to someone that we hadn't opened up to before. And for Dickens, the point of the Christmas Carol was not when Scrooge is down in the grave or all of the things that we notice. There's a little tiny moment in the book where the spirit of Christmas present is starting to dwindle away, and Scrooge says, there's something behind your skirts, there's something hiding under your skirts. And he opens his skirts, and there's these two deformed little children, and he said, this is ignorance and want. Beware these, because as long as these are here, you'll make no progress. And he said, I want to strike a hatchet blow at the idea that civilization goes on and we just leave the poor and the starving off to the side, And so the greatest books challenge us on a societal level. And there's one thing to, try to be nice to the person next door. But if you die, Jesus said in the 25th chapter of Matthew, in the last day, the nations of the earth will come before God. And he will say, I was in prison. Did you visit me? I was hungry. Did you feed me? I was naked. Did you clothe me? And on the basis of those three questions, they'll either be cast off to one side or the other. He doesn't say people will come to me individually. He says the nations of the earth will come. And I honestly believe that the nations of the earth will be judged on how they approach those questions. And all of great literature tends to say the same thing. Great literature does take a political stance. Jesus took a political stance, and he was adamantly in favor, not just in favor, but he adamantly said that the success of civilization depends on how they treat those that are marginalized and unwanted. And that, I think, is very challenging. We tend to not like to think that that's what Christianity is, or even good Judaism, or even being a good Muslim. We tend to like to think that it is instead keeping all the rules really well.